I am not usually a whiner. I think I'm not clingy to my friends or lover. I don't act childishly. However, my yearnings for Piploy only grow stronger in response to my efforts to rein them in. The more I try not to think about her, the more I miss her. Can I go see you this evening? I already told you that I'm in Rayong for work today. But you said it was just for a day. And I told you that my work finishes very late at night, so I will spend the night here. I'm going back tomorrow. I can go pick you up tonight. Rayong isn't far from Bangkok. What's going on with you? I want to see your face. Just Google my name. There's no need for you to travel all the way here. A simple Google search will return a large number of my photographs. I can imagine her lovely dimples hearing that teasing voice of hers. I'd rather not argue with you. Are you back at your accommodation yet? I'm heading back there now. Have you had any dinner? Yes. Who are you with? My secretary. Do you miss me? There is only silence. Are you smiling right now? I've been smiling since I saw your name on my phone when you called. That is all it takes to alleviate my longing for her. That should be enough to calm my anxieties until I meet her. I reach Rayong at 1 a.m. I'm trying to calm myself in front of room 9013 of a hotel in the heart of Rayong, waiting for someone to open the door for me after knocking twice. Despite her silence, I could feel the scolding in her eyes, brows, lips, and facial muscles for driving alone to Rayong at night. If you're going to scold me, do it now. As soon as I see her face, the first night butterfly flies out of my chest. Its luminous wings are flapping joyously as it delicately descends onto Piploy's silky cleavage. You're an adult. You should be able to think for yourself. Why should I scold you? Dressed in a bathrobe, the woman brushes her wavy hair off her face before inviting me to take a seat in her room. Even the hotel room where Piploy stays for just one night exudes an enticing aroma. A Piploy vibe permeates the entire space. So you're not going to scold me? Piploy's lovely eyes narrow as she clearly becomes irritated by my lack of guilt. As a result, I hang my head and droop my face in an attempt to appear adorable, yet. That expression doesn't work on me, pun. Aren't you happy to see me here? I want to hug and cuddle her so badly. I want to bury my face into her soft body. Is that how I look? You would not let me hug you. I desperately need a hug. Did I stop you from doing that? I express my displeasure by burying my scrunched face into her neck and grunting. Loosely wrapping my arms around her, I press the tip of my nose against her luminous, fair skin just above her earlobe. Does it imply that you're happy to see me? You're an adult. You should be able to think for yourself. Do I need to tell you that? Piploy's voice is brimming with happiness. I lean back and meet her eyes. I am unable to think right now. Her eyes shine with adoration as the light catches her cheerful face. I can't help it. The urge to press my lips against hers is too strong for me to resist. What a terrible kiss! The touch is delicate, yet the words are vicious. I press my lips down once more, hoping for a better response. However, she shakes her head. That isn't any better. If you're going to be this savage, I will no longer allow you to speak. I wrap my arms around her neck and pull her in for another kiss. I'm not a device to track your kissing skill development, pun. I look into the eyes of the person in front of me and decide to go for it. I am going to give this relationship my all, and if it fails, I will accept all responsibility. What do I have to do to receive a full score from you? My question is as quiet as a whisper. Piploy grabs my collar and pulls me closer. She leans her gorgeous features in delicately. The sparkle in her honey-sweet eyes as she pauses to look into mine renders me speechless. So seductive, Piploy has a remarkable talent for flirting. Do you realize what you've just asked me? She speaks in a sweeter tone than usual. Her fingers tenderly trace a delicate outline around my face as she raises my chin. I'm fully aware of everything that's happening. I cannot decipher the deep thoughts that are visible in her dark eyes. She shakes her head slowly, as though I didn't respond to her query. She then presses those dewy lips against mine, as if she has made up her mind. It is not as passionate as our initial kiss in the condominium. However, it is so warm that it melts my heart. Her fragrance is intoxicating. I ensnare her silky hair in my fingers and give a little tug. And when Peeploy leans in and tilts her head at the perfect angle, I let out a soft moan. My stomach flutters with butterflies. I've never been so infatuated by someone. My hand finds its way through the opening in her collar and brushes against her silky cleavage. An erotic scene would have ensued if Peeploy hadn't seized my hand as I was slipping it into her bra, on the verge of touching. More than just her cleavage. Although our lips have not yet parted, she is smiling at me with an expression that is both adoring and content. Are you attempting to outdo your teacher? What constitutes outdoing a teacher? I only know doing a teacher. With an emotionless expression on my face, I say this as I longingly peer through the opening of her collar just a little bit more. Why did she have to stop me? Crazy kid. Peeploy gets up and straightens her clothes while laughing merrily. For the first time in my conscious state, we are sharing a bed. With only a few pieces of clothing on, our exposed skin brushes against each other. Her skin is cool and moist, beckoning me to cuddle her. I wish I could spend the entire night with my face buried in her cleavage and neck. There are moments when I do nothing more than lie fully still. On occasion, I snuggle and kiss. It is difficult for me to resist the urge to run my fingers over her silky skin. She gives me free rein to do whatever I want until she begins to breathe deeply and steadily. The day's exertion caused Peeploy to nod off first. In the darkness, I look at Peeploy and recall our video calls until we fall asleep. During those moments, I wished I could lie next to her in bed and kiss her eyelids as they closed. I wanted to know what she had dreamed. I wanted to embrace her and keep her warm, despite the fact that she is older and more resilient than I am in life. I wanted to safeguard the vulnerabilities I could sense she was concealing deep within her strong heart. I still can't put my finger on what it is about her. And yet, despite the fact that we've only just met, she has my complete affection and confidence. When I'm with her, I get a warm, fuzzy feeling in my chest. Pun. The person I thought was sleeping calls out to me in a slow, sleepy tone. I didn't want to say this because we're sleeping in an unfamiliar place, but every time I'm about to nod off, your constant fiddling keeps me awake. I feel as though an ethereal being is keeping me from getting any rest. Stop. Kissing me and lie still. It is easy for you to say. You've never been in my position. The person listening frowns in confusion. I am unable to suppress a soft giggle as I maintain my face buried in her warm breasts. What's so funny? You smell too good. I pull away from her and touch the part of her cheek where a dimple usually appears with my finger. Have you ever seen yourself smile? There's light there. I press my lips against her eyelid. If you haven't seen that, please don't ask me to stop kissing you. It appears that the sleepy person is now awake. Without warning, she pushes me and turns me over so that I'm lying on my back. She then places her slender frame on top of me, stretches my arms out, and presses my wrists above my head. If I do this, she brings her breathtaking features close to my face. Can you keep still? Her soft hair falls on my shoulders. Even in the dark, her intense desire shines through her ferocious eyes. A passionate kiss from Peeploy lands firmly on my neck. Her lips are soft as they caress my shoulders and cleavage, despite the intoxicating sensation of her sharp fangs. Through the sheer fabric, her hands delicately touch my two breasts. As her fingers trace across my delicate areas, I tremble and raise my face. I can clearly smell the seductive aroma of the ambrosial woman. That scent sends the butterflies in my chest into a completely disorienting frenzy, and they begin flying around aimlessly. This level of intimacy is unprecedented for me. However, I made no effort to fight off Peeploy's pressure as she pressed my wrists against the bed. I simply shut my eyes and allowed my face to flush. I'm breathing heavily and with difficulty. Wherever that lovely face wants to go, I make way for it. I thought we were about to cross the line when the swift aggressor lifted the hem of my shirt and sucked my exposed skin. My stomach churns. I feel Ploy's nails sliding up my thigh and onto my hip. If I do not get enough sleep, I will become extremely irritated. Everything stops dead in its tracks, and I am taken aback. Ploy pushes herself up, returns my clothes to their proper places, kisses me on the forehead, and then lies down next to me as if she hadn't just aroused me. Damn, I turn to look at her, my eyes wide open in disbelief. The savage and seductive eagle is grinning at me. Without a second thought, she hoisted me into the air and then carelessly let me fall to the concrete below. Can you now imagine yourself in someone else's position and experience the sensation of an ethereal being waking them up while they're asleep? Did you have to go that far? I did not go near your breasts, but you caressed them and… Arg. I'm fully awake and aroused. Caress and what? Ploy asks, as if she doesn't understand what I meant. But the fact that she was laughing while she asked me shows how thorough and accurate her understanding of my words was. I had no intention of getting even with you, but you're just so adorable. Can I really believe what she just said? She claims I'm adorable, but she just left me to plummet from the sky. My mother has always raised me to be a lady. There are giggles coming from the shadows. And… you touch my breasts. Yes, I admit, I touch them. In fact, I plan to do more. The fact that the lights are off is a blessing. I am able to hide my awkwardness in the room's darkness. If the lights were on, I wouldn't know where to bury my flushed face. I find myself at a disadvantage. Do you want me to compensate you? However, you didn't appear to be a victim. You seem to enjoy. Ploy. I sigh loudly, but she simply laughs and draws me in for a hug. I'll treat you to omakase when we return to Bangkok, okay? Once again, my nose and mouth gravitate towards her radiant neck. Omakase in exchange for allowing you to touch my boobs. Is it a good deal? I feel like I'm selling my body. It's a good price. I only touched your breasts. An omakase course typically costs at least a few thousand. That isn't a good price. You get to touch the bosom of a gorgeous woman who is an angel, has a degree from the United States, and comes from a loving family. That's a bargain. But all the models usually allow me to touch their boobs for free. I break free of her embrace as an internal wave of annoyance washes over me. But I shift my game plan from complaining to doing something else the second I catch a glimpse of the sparkle in her eyes. But then, why would you even consider treating me to omakase? I playfully wiggle my toes up her leg. Am I special? I will tell you everything if you let me touch it again. She may be threatening me verbally, but I seriously doubt she will follow through with her threats. Consequently, I take hold of her soft hand and rest it on my breast. And when Ploy tries to withdraw her hand, I grip it. Firmly. Explain in detail why you're willing to pay to touch my breasts. Ploy pauses when I launch an attack. It seems like my unexpected tactic has caught her off guard. Or is this not enough? Ploy's eyebrows arch as I thread her hand down to my shirt hem and slide it underneath. Feelings of naked flesh meet. I am warming her icy fingers as I bring them closer to my breast. The moment her hand touches my breast, I let it go free. As Ploy's fingers start to caress the spot where I released her hand, my pulse quickens and my abdominal muscles tense. Even though I can sense that she is also aroused, she remains rooted to that spot and refuses to claim any other area. Where is the woman who was raised to be a lady by her mother? The person who says those words draws her hand back and wraps her arm around her chest. I exhale in frustration as I find myself once again left hanging. I'm going to sleep now. I turn away from her, frustrated, though I am not sure why. I pull the blanket up to my neck and hide under it. Nevertheless, I'm totally outclassed. I turn back to Ploy after closing my eyes for less than a minute. Those sweet, profound eyes are still fixed on me. We lock eyes for a moment before I kiss her soft lips and close my eyes after cuddling her, even though I'm still sulking. Our relationship advances slowly. In other words, while it may appear slow, it actually progresses quickly. On the other hand, despite appearing swift, it moves at a frustratingly slow pace. My hormones have gone haywire. I constantly yearn and long to be close to her. We become an integral part of each other's lives. We spend our nighttime together. We discuss personal matters. I pay her discreet visits at work. We are aware of each other's daily schedules. I am aware that she drives at a high speed and that she requires at least 8 hours of sleep every night to maintain her attractiveness and prevent easily becoming irritated. I even know she prefers when I openly express my desires for her. She likes it when I take the initiative and make the first move. The only problem is that she won't do anything to me. I sometimes get the impression that she is holding back. She appears to be testing the waters but refusing to dive in. Once we're completely aroused and ready to cross the line, she'll abruptly end the teasing. I've recently been trying to seduce her more and more because I want to break down the wall she's built between us. I pay closer attention to her and note what she likes and dislikes, as well as her body language with different people. My biggest worry is that she hasn't moved on from her feelings for Prang. There's something between them that I can't compete with. What are you watching? What's with your recent taste in obscure music? What is so peculiar about oldie songs? It wouldn't be odd if you don't normally listen to Coldplay or go crazy for the script. I never said anything about you changing your preferences in men every 6 months. Pun, oldies music isn't your thing. Well, best. I want to listen to some oldies right now. By the way, I would like a P-ploy cardboard cutout standee. Could you tell me where I can get one made? For what reason do you want it? She'll be competing in her channel's sporting event. I'm going to go cheer her on. Oh my God, a cardboard cutout standee. Isn't that a bit much? Have you thought about using the stadium's LED lights instead? Good idea. I was being sarcastic. Didn't you already hire a detective to locate P-Pay? Why are you still spending time with P-ploy? Best is arching her brows and twisting her mouth, which are almost normal in comparison to the last time I met her, as she looks at me skeptically. We hang out with the same people. It's only natural for me to go support her. Will P-Prang, P-Ken, and PJ also be there? Of course. They are the channel's leading actors and actresses. Why aren't you making cardboard cutout standees for them? Why are you only getting one for P-ploy? They have a lot of fans who can do those things for them. And P-ploy doesn't. P-ploy portrays a villain while they are the leads. Obviously, they have more fans. Look at my beautiful face, Pun. Do I look stupid? Yes. Do you like P-ploy? Best, I have VIP passes. Okay, I'll play dumb. I won't ask you any more questions. What does Miss Pun want to best to do for you? The sarcastic friend rubs her breasts against my back in an attempt to please me. Good girl, do not challenge the authority of the state. I'm looking for a reliable shop for standees and LED lights. At your service. Following this event, PJ will begin working in Pattaya. P-Prang will accompany her. Their gang is planning a trip. Would you guys like to come along? The lodging is free and it has a swimming pool. Is P-Ken in the gang? Ooh-hoo. Oh, absolutely, my darling. DeBest will also be there if P-Ken is. However, even if P-Ken does not go, I will still make the trip, because it's free. H-A-H-A-H-A. Best is so giddy that you would never guess that her husband is home waiting for her. Okay, please check if Jeeb and Chakrat are available. I will send the date and details in our group chat. Crit will definitely go. He enjoys rubbing shoulders with celebrities. Ooh-hoo, one last thing. Yes. When you and P-Boy got to know each other, when did you confess your love? Is it necessary for us to confess our love? Isn't sleeping together enough? Arg. I did not get the information I wanted. Has P-Boy ever simply stopped when you wanted to be intimate or were about to do so? My, you're so hardcore today. Don't tell me you have a guy. My best friend is pointing her index finger at me, winking and twisting her face, as if she has discovered my secret. To whom are you giving your virginity? I brush Best's finger away. Stop your my oh my and answer me. Make sure it's something useful. Geez, okay. When we're tired or stressed, we may not feel like doing it. But we rarely stop while doing it. Who would stop unless there was an emergency? Ugh. What is it? Why do you seem to be in distress? Nothing. The lead from this shop doesn't appeal to me. It lacks vibrancy. Best takes the phone out of my hand and looks at it. That's a lame excuse. The LEDs are exceptionally bright. Best moves her 350cc breasts away to grab the cheesecake from the refrigerator, leaving the cardboard cutout standee images frozen on my phone's screen, along with my thoughts. Am I not beautiful enough? Do I need to have a model figure to persuade? Peep Lloyd across the line.